I'm thrilled to welcome back our panel of experts, and actually the conversation today will be led by Jennifer and Miriam. Today is the third session of 6 in this workshop series, and our topic today is somewhat, contentious: the real truth about fats.
So yes, today we are going to be diving into the topic of food fats, which is often very misunderstood and has had a very bad reputation over the years. But not all food fats are created equal. So I'm pleased to be sharing the screen today with Miriam, and we're going to be touching on several topics related to food fats, looking at fats over the years, why fats are important, the types of food fats, how much is enough, and another wonderful recipe makeover by Miriam. So I'm very excited to see that one as well. We've really had a love-hate relationship with food fats. And this slide really, I think, does a great job of demonstrating some examples of the varying messages over time. Starting off with, if you love your children, butter them up. This really goes back to the age of the Atkins diet, where we were focusing on high-fat foods for health. We then fast forward into the 80s, where the theme was that animal fat is bad. It increases high cholesterol, contributes to high cholesterol, and increases heart disease. And then we move into 2014, where we're being told to eat butter. Butter is now back, and there's growing research on the misguided low-fat trend, and that eating something like butter is not hugely harmful or beneficial. So it's no surprise it's very confusing, all of the different aspects around food fat. So let's get curious about the facts on food fats. And I'm going to hand it over to Miriam.
The different types of fats, we have the unsaturated fats. And the reason why we love those so much is because they are very high in HDL, which indirectly lowers our LDL. So those are really, really heart healthy fats, and you can find them in fish, in oil, in olive oil, in nuts, and even in avocados that we have talked about last time. Then you have the saturated fats. So those ones increase the LDL. We can find them in baked goods, in animal products mostly. So here we have butter and we have meat. And then we have the trans fats. And those are the ones that I'm not the type of person who will say like, okay, you absolutely need to stay away from something. But the trans fat, what they do is that not only they don't only make your LDLs higher, the bad cholesterol high, but they also impact your good cholesterol by making them lower.
I'd love to hear from folks, about what they consider when they're thinking about the fat that they're going to cook their food in. And feel free to raise your hand. We'd love to hear your question live and see your wonderful face. And if not, type it in the chat box. I will ask that for you. Or if you even just want to comment, what are the oils that you generally use in cooking?
Well, I think the thing that you've got to be keeping in mind when you're looking at the oil that you're cooking with is the application that you're using that oil for, or the fat that you're using it for. So if you're using it to do a marinade, or you're using it for a dressing, you're going to use a different type of fat potentially than one that you're going to be using if you're looking to fry something or cook something at a higher temperature. So you really want to be mindful. There's a term called smoke point, and this is the temperature at which the fat starts to deteriorate and you start to lose the nutrients that's in the fat. So things like extra virgin olive oil, for example, is going to have a low smoke point. So that's not a fat that you want to use when you're cooking at high temperatures. So that's when you're going to be using more for drizzle or marinade or a dressing. And when you look at something like canola oil or corn oil, that's got a higher smoke point. And so that's the type of fat that you're going to be using if you're going to deep fry or cook at high temperatures, stir frying.
I might take this opportunity to undemonized avocados. So when I had access to it, I don't right now, because I'm in a really remote fishing village. I used to buy avocado oil that you could spray in your pan. And I think avocado has a much higher smoke point. Is that true? Avocado oil?
It's sort of in the mid-range. It's in the mid-range, so it's definitely something that you can use more on the higher end. So if you're doing like a stir fry or something like that, it can certainly tolerate higher temperatures than like a coconut oil or an extra virgin olive oil.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thanks. And how was that? I mean, I feel better about avocados now. My relationship with avocados.
It's definitely an example of an unsaturated fat.
Okay, thank you. So we learned a ton today. I feel like I still have so much to learn. But some of the highlights from what we were discussing earlier, the messaging around food fat has changed over the years, right? It's flip-flop from something that we love to it's been demonized, and then back all of a sudden we love it again. But really, the most important thing I got from this is that our body actually needs those fats. It's really important for it to function properly. We have to have some good, healthy fats in our diet. We also learned about this idea that not all fats are created equal. Some are certainly way better than others. And then we have there's the, unsaturated, saturated, trans fats. I think we talked a lot around the fact that this is certainly a situation where the quality of the fats that we're incorporating in our diets, it's so much more important than the quantity. And then the last part, healthy fats can be delicious. And I would even say they can be a lot of fun. So with that, I will hand it over to Jen for Jen's Jewels.
This week, I encourage you to pick a few packaged items from your kitchen. They can be from the cupboard, from the fridge, from the freezer. Now, focus on the fat content on the nutrition label. So really start to look very, very focused on the fat content on the label. What are you starting to learn? And what is surprising you? How is your growing knowledge helping you to make choices about the foods that you buy and that you eat? The next thing I challenge you to do is to think about what is one thing that you can stock in your kitchen to incorporate healthy fats into your routine. Maybe it's the fat that you cook with. Maybe it's the snacks that you eat between your meals. Lastly, what is one fat that's part of your diet that you want to celebrate? As you are deepening your learning about healthy eating, in particular food fats, what choice do you want to pat yourself on the back for making? Maybe it's the full fat yogurt that you eat for breakfast, or cooking with olive oil, for example. So the affirmation that I offer to you this week is I am using my curiosity to try new things that will nourish me.